Ladies and gentlemen, the long-awaited, highly anticipated conversation with my guy and your guy in your when you come to the fabulous Fox Theater, you see a guy named Paul
DeLuca.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, and the guy is the guy. He's the number one stagehand in the fabulous Fox, and it's going on to 30 years, if I'm not mistaken. January the 1st.
That'll be 30 years.
Wow.
That'll be 30 years as being the prop master at the Fox Theater.
And that's the key to the stagehand lore of being a prop master. It's, they got a head carpenter, head electrician, and then they have the
flyman.
A flyman.
And our sound guy.
And your sound guy.
Yes. And so the five of us are here all the time. And right after COVID, that is when I became the production supervisor. So along with my role as doing props, now I'm what most people will call the union steward. And
yeah.
So I have those responsibilities now also, running the crew.
Right. And if it comes down to something about having a parade for you, this would be the place, because you've been here, people know you. Anybody that has a road tour, seen the likes of you.
Well, that's very true. I mean, these guys come in. I've known them a long time. I mean, there's always new faces. You always got new faces. But sometimes you see people over and over again for years.
Yeah.
It's like a big family.
Yeah. I was able to do that prop guy, Tom Preeland. Perrin. Oh, sorry, Tom. But we talked about that.
Yeah.
And how, unbelievable doing the amount of performances.
Yeah.
And if you would take a stage pass, holy cow, man. You would have a house, wallpaper.
Yeah, that's very true. And believe it or not, how long have you been retired now, Kevin?
I really don't know.
It's been several years.
Oh, yeah, over 5, so close as 8.
Yeah, and people still come in here and say, hey, where's that Kevin Whalen guy?
Oh!
That Whalen, he's got to be around here someplace. I miss that guy.
Oh, wow, man.
They do. They remember you.
Yeah, my shtick was pretzels and bratwurst wrapped in pretzel with salsa.
I think some people still have that as the ringtone on their phone.
How about that? But it was such a blast, and they called it guerrilla theater. And I don't think that's a compliment. And the whole story comes, I was here when I was in grade school. We used to be able, 7th, 8th grade, I used to be able to take the grand bus down here.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, to get off and walk, and then you had your choices was the St. Louis Theater, the Lowe's State, I believe.
Yeah, I believe that's correct.
Or Mid-City, and then the Fox.
Right. And
I remember coming in here and kung fu fighting, and it was fast as lightning. And we were jamming, man. Everybody they wouldn't allow us in the balcony, but everybody's jamming. You're a big screen, and that song was really popular. And you're doing, a kung fu fighting type of thing, but not in a serious manner, But I remember sitting here, and the lights go out, legs up in the air, I mean, to tell you, you say, what the hell was that? You don't want to know, pal. And I mean, it was pretty hell-ho.
Yeah.
And then they had that movie, Escape from New York.
Right. That was after it closed, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it was all dead and done. And you said, what the hell, man? I remember that. And then it was across the street at the St. Louis when they closed and redid it for the Powell Hall. You said, oh, my gosh. Yeah, but they tore down the Lowe's.
Right.
So here it is. And you cannot forget about the steakhouse.
Right.
Oh, I mean, and you look and you say, what the hell is that? Is he got Tourette's or something? Hey, it's you, the order. You said, my God, there's like 6 people in front of me. He knew right away.
Yeah, and they even got a T-shirt now. It says "neck" on the back. But my story is a little different because growing up in Illinois, we didn't come over here to go to the movies. We went in Illinois. So, then the place closed down and reopened. Well, I wasn't much into theater. I didn't. I knew about it, and I kind of got into it in high school, and then I went to college, and I was working over in the theater department at SIU when I got my first call to come to work for the Stagehands, and it was in this building on props.
Wow.
And I walked in and I didn't even know what I was in for, and they were getting ready to film Hail Hail RocknRoll.
Yeah, I remember it.
And that was in 1986.
It was.
And it was in October. And that was my first call. And one of the very first things they did, they handed me a case of Jack Daniels, and they said, can you go give this to Keith Richards? And I walked up and I said, Mr. Richards, they told me this is for you. And he said, put it behind me amp. And I'm telling you, by the end of the night, he was tripping over the empty bottles.
Absolutely, baby, absolutely.
But that bug, that was the theater bug right there. And that day, it launched. I was like, this is what I want to do.
Well, that was a big thing. It was they brought that Cadillac down that ramp, baby, and they were, like NASA engineers. Is this going to work?
Yeah.
But the thing is that after they closed up and redid it, I worked the first Broadway. It was Anything Goes with little Mickey Rooney and Ann Miller. I mean, Mamma Mia, huh?
That's a big one to start with. That's a good one.
Yeah. And then Ann Miller, a couple of years later, got hurt at the Muni out there.
Mm-hmm.
But here, it was the big thing of, holy shit, this is big.
Yeah.
And there's, how many Foxes are there?
Well, there's a lot of Foxes, but there's only 3 of the big palaces. They call this the palace that are left.
Got it.
And that's the one in Atlanta.
Check.
Which is slightly different because it was originally going to be a Mason Hall, and they worked out a deal to make it show movies there too. But the one in Detroit is built off the same blueprints as this, so they look identical.
Wow, man.
Yeah, all the blueprints we have all say St. Louis / Detroit.
Wow.
There's only minor differences in the 2 buildings.
And I look back around because we're sitting on stage right, house left, on the orchestra pit.
Right.
And behind there's 2 pillars by the stairs. That was the wall.
That was the end of it.
That was it.
That's all we had.
And and there usually are like that.
Yeah.
The old ones. and they had to do extend it 15, 20 feet.
20 feet, yeah.
Okay, so you got that situation, the back wall, and did they do it for Phantom of the Opera or Miss Saigon?
The story kind of both, because they wanted Miss Saigon. Is the story I understand. They wanted Miss Saigon, so they needed that space. But then, the first show that really took advantage of the new space was the big Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
The Raoul tour.
Right. And that's why I completed with you, because you have that inside thing of telling me there's tours, there's national tours, and not all of them are the same.
That's true.
And it is a visible thing. If you've seen the 2 or 3 versions of it, you say, oh my God, what is that?
Yeah, and they're all they all can be a little different, though. They can be a lot different.
Yeah.
And over time, they scale back and they get bumped down. But, when Phantom was in its heyday, they had the big one. Then we had to drill a hole in the floor, so Phantom could come up. They could never play that here until they expanded. And so we finally got that one here. And only played here the one time. And now the one that's coming back this year, they're dusting off the old Phantom, old set, and they're redoing it, and it's going to be just like the original.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
And I remember that there was Phantom was, talked about going on tour, and then they said, hey, Phantom is coming to the Fox. And I went, holy shit, what? And then I got to read, it's the Nebraska touring. With the cape and go, whoa, and people, I still got splinters from the place, the scenery. And there it was, Al Baker's was going, hey, I got 4 tickets to Phantom of the Opera, when they were like, going this with the cripple money nowadays, back in the day. And they said, that's from Nebraska. That was a bogus deal, man.
Yeah, right. There's been a bunch of those.
Oh, man. When they say business, the show business.
They're giving you the business.
Oh, I'm telling you, knucklehead, we'll be back. We'll get the whole family. So there it was, is that we had so many different shows that we did. We said, my God, man, can you believe it? And right over there was Old Man Bales, who called the guy for the Grateful Dead for the sound guy to come in, and Garcia took him. He was the #1 sound man.
Bob Heil. He's still around.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
What an incredible story.
Yeah, that's a true story.
You got a crumbled up number on a scratch paper in your wallet. You call a guy and he's $1 million, baby.
Yeah. I saw Bob here not too terribly long ago, but because he had worked with Stan because they were all they were organ buffs,
And aren't we something we call him Stan? It's Stan Kitten, ladies and gentlemen. But he knows us as Paul Wales. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and but I know that they were good buds too, so there was always a good connection here in the theater.
Yeah. Should I take a moment? Stan passed away, hasn't he?
Stan did pass away. I had so much trouble with time anymore, but he passed away before COVID. But just recently we had a celebration of his life because it would have been his 100th birthday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell you. And it's right there in the cove out there in the lobby.
Well, we got two organs. We're sitting on top of one of them.
Right.
That's the big one. Then the one out in the lobby too.
Yeah. But that was really something when you said, "What in the hell is that music's playing?" And right there, look down there. And Stan lived in my neighborhood.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he had like one of those long purple maroon convertibles that come from Sunset Strip, Sunset Boulevard or so. And his head, he would ride me up right at the steering wheel.
Yeah.
I said, "You're Stan Can." So man, he was noticed. Hey, somebody notices me.
Yeah, he liked his old cars. That's for sure.
Oh man,
he had a bunch of them.
Yeah.
But my absolute favorite story about Stan, because early on we became friends because I helped him fix one of the pipes in the organ.
Nice.
And he said that thing hadn't worked in 50 years. And I was able to fix it for him. So he was very grateful for that.
Yeah.
But there was probably a couple years later, he was here, because he would play the theater tours.
Yeah.
And I said, "Hey Stan," I said, "Guess what?" He said, "What's that?" I said, "I'm getting married."
Wow.
And he goes, "Really? Congratulations." He said, "Do you need an organ player for your wedding?" And I said, "Are you volunteering?" And he said, "Absolutely." And he did. He came and played at my wedding.
Wow, man. And you had a great one, man. That was a great Gigi really put it off nice, man. It was
at St. Albans.
Yes, what I was going to name drop. Yeah. I get scared saying the name. So here it is, man. We had little hallways, and instead of the hallways, they put murals up and down. But you go up over the top, and you can walk all the way around to the photo spot booth.
Yep.
And I swear to God, Tony Bennett was right here, and I faded out just right with his voice and baba boom, baba bang. It was unbelievable. It was a showstopper, and he really appreciated it. He waved up to me,
He was a top notch. He would shake everybody's hand and make sure he said thank you to everybody, all the stagehands, everybody that was involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a phony baloney thing. It was like, hey, man, I really want to thank you guys. Stop work. Everything's okay. Say hi.
That's true. He is absolutely one of my favorite performers that I ever worked with here. Because every time he came in the building, he was always so courteous and please and thank you, and you guys are top notch. And then he put on a fabulous show and then brought the house down every time.
I mean, every time he was here, just him and the piano without a microphone.
Yeah.
How about that? And you could hear it. It's just like
that was part of his shtick. Every time he came, he always did one. He'd say, "Turn the sound system off."
Yeah.
And he would sing one without any reinforcement.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
It was a treasure. And, it's a little different than when you Wayne Newton. He said, "My fog machine is not working right. You got some drafts around here." And you have to try to put a curtain around the doorway there at the ramp that's going to block, And then it came to where, listen, if you want me to play the King and the King and I, Brenna, you're going to have, so when I get out of my car, I'm going to have to see nothing but brown. You said, "Oh, yeah." You said, "I'm serious." You remember that?
I don't remember
Okay.
that. But I've heard there's still, to this day, all across the country brown dressing rooms because he had everything painted brown.
Everything, man, curtain, and then with that the guy with the fro, and he's been around, the disc jockey guy, the tall. Don't look at me.
Oh,
are we getting close? He's a radio personality, shock jock. Yeah. So, yeah.
it's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, king of all theater, king of all comedy. Don't look at me.
Yeah.
Don't make eye contact. Oh, isn't that beautiful?
We get a bunch of those too.
Oh man, and they're serious about it.
Oh yeah, you can't look at them.
Yeah, and I remember using the David Copperfield. Listen, kid, we're going to show you how we sue you if you say anything about how we're doing these tricks. I'm telling you, okay? So you're part of the show.
Sign here on the dotted line, right?
Exactly. Yeah, full disclosure. And how did that with the full disclosure with the Addams Family, the musical? I still say it. I mean, we've done, when that curtain comes down for intermission, we have a blast. It's usually always a hop number, and then we come out and we have to pick up some balloons or some confetti and this and that, and with the broom and the mop and this and that. But my gosh, we had some funny business, haven't we, man?
Yeah.
And no matter who you would work with, you try to get the same type of crew to have continuity about where things are located, and this and that, and just you spend a lot of time together, and you got personality conflicts can really mess it up.
It can, and I think people lose sight of that. Is when these tours started developing back 100 years ago, these guys were going around and they're like gypsies, and then they needed these local people, and that we help each other,
Yeah.
And the continuity that's the key right there. You get when you're coming to St. Louis, you're going to get these guys. They're gonna remember you, and you're gonna help them, and we're gonna help you.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get your show going, and we're gonna get it on the road and back on the road when you're done, and we're all gonna have fun. And it's a group effort. It's a brotherhood.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
And there's cue sheets. And some are laminated, and you look at the cue sheet, and some are papered that they don't usually last for 8 shows, 8 performances, you know what I mean, in a week.
Yeah.
And you say, what the? And okay, I'll give you a verbal. Oh, thank you. But trying to on show, and they've done over 1,000 performances, and you're here the first time. You say, what the? And I got to read this in this light. So that's always the thing. And I don't know if anybody else had to do it, but I had an audition. They said, we got a couple of cues, and I don't think you can do it. I don't think you can get it in that costume, if you remember that one.
I do.
Yeah.
I think I still got some photographs.
Oh, beautiful, baby. Beautiful. But I had the turntable for Les Mis.
Oh, yeah.
They said, hey, this is going to go around in the dark, and you're going to have to pick up the stable and get off of it in rhythm. I said, did you say rhythm? I got nothing but rhythm. And I tell you, the decline of the whale was when I did the wall dance.
That's very true.
Oh, man. But,
up you went.
Oh.
Down you came.
Ouch. Ouch. I had, it was supposed to be 210-pound max. coming down, I was like 225, and oh man, that's not good. But then I did the hat dance, and I was kind of embarrassed. Nobody should see this. I don't know what the Fox would say, but man, I would be able to see that hat dance, huh?
Yeah, and you danced with the Cinderella. Remember?
Oh, Mama, yeah, the witch, the good witch, I think she was.
The evil witch.
Is that who she was? Whoa.
and also in Blast. Remember the Blast dance?
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. The hat.
Oh, the hat. Yeah,
the cap.
That's right.
I mean, that's it was breathtaking and
legendary.
That's what I'm going to think about. And the guy filmed it not knowing that I was there. I didn't, and everybody was kind of like, all right, don't say nothing. Just watch this guy. And Blast is the one, never forget, is that we were one of the only national touring groups on 9/11.
That's right.
And they did taps.
Mm-hmm.
It was a brass, like a marching band that would do stage moves, and it was that's why they call it Blast. It was unbelievable.
Right, and we did. It was incredibly sad, but they did play taps before the show, and because we did have a show that evening of 9/11.
Yeah, and it was incredible because there was some a scene, a number in that it was like 9/11, the building, and the building they showed the one part of the tower.
Right.
They did that with some flags and stuff before there was a 9/11.
Yeah.
And holy moly, I mean, creepy, oh boy. And we're up there, the road guy, he was the son of that older guy that did electrics. He was a motorcycle guy, and he had the beard, and he had majestic.
Yeah, I
it's just a legendary guy, funny, and his son, him and him. I worked a tour, chess,
right,
and our names are still up there. It worked on paper tour. It looked great on paper, but trying to fix this thing.
It didn't work so good.
Oh, how many work calls can we have in 8 days? But anyway, so 5 more minutes?
Whatever you want.
Or I'll take 10 then.
Okay.
Okay. So now we're doing the rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, there's been some major rock and roll that just knocks your socks off here.
Yeah.
And one of the best that I've ever seen was that merchant, the girl.
Natalie?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you talk about a stage presence. It was just her, barefooted in a flowing dress, dancing and singing so beautifully. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
The captivation that one person can, the whole room, all eyes on them.
I mean, and we don't do a ton of rock and roll here.
No.
But when we do it, it's we get some pretty good acts here. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean to tell you, me. I'm like the white temptation that never got discovered, But on street corners all up through North Side, the whale was on the, say, man, you look like a temptation. And that's who's just left the building,
That's
right? The Temptations and the Four Tops.
Yep.
I guess they got their great-grandchildren on the tour now.
They must, and I know that I think there was maybe one original member in each, but
Yeah.
But these guys they'd been around a while. I mean, there was some young people too, but and they rocked it. I mean, they did it. It was a
man.
great show.
Wow.
It was a great show.
Well, that guy, so I'm that type of, funk. P-Funk never played here, But the deal is that I got a story. And the story goes is that, I need a producer to get me I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, that guy, Leo Cohen. Leo, the guy with the cap and he's talking, Leo Cohen.
I don't know.
Come on. Something. He was, a real DLC. Okay. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Well, anyway, yes. Something with this corn. And I don't know nothing from nothing. They said, Wales, you're going to dig this guy. And I was strictly impressed with the guy. I mean, to be able to be one cat on this stage and all eyes are on everything, movement, that everything you do, the lighting is just right, the sound is just right, and it's just an unbelievable experience. And that's what people come here to do is to have an experience instead of just going out and having fun.
Yeah, and you get to feel that energy.
Yes.
When you have 4,000 people in here and they're all cheering, you feel that energy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean the performer certainly does, but we get it too, and that's what's nice.
Oh,
you
man.
get to feel that.
Yeah. And it's you're surprised of doing all the acts that up over the stage. You would climb up that trapeze ladder to do a follow spot over the stage. Mm-hmm. That's incredible. And then you go around. They said, "Hey, you got 10 more pounds and you're not going to be able to make this little hole." Just, the little cubby hole.
You're going to look like Winnie the Pooh.
So that was, yeah. And I mean to tell you, all the ghost stories.
Yeah. And the funny part is everybody's got a ghost story in this place. And I'm telling you, I've spent a lot of time in here. And a lot of time when the building is empty, and I've never seen a thing.
No.
Not a one.
Not heard a thing.
Yeah. And I'm a believer.
Yeah, not smelt a thing.
Nothing. Well, maybe I smelled something, but not a ghost.
No, not a ghost. Oh, my gosh. But, yeah, man, I mean, there it was. And, you hear the story. Back up in the cove where all the lights are at and the big bulb, that a guy leaped to his death over here. You said, what? Get going. And you would all, hey, watch it. You're going to go down a plaster. You go right down to the floor. You say, my God, that's like 200-something feet or something.
Yeah, you don't want to fall through.
No. Workers' comp is unbelievable to try to get on that one. They said, you did what with who? Get going. So it's a custom here at Wales Certified. And by the way, I want to say, you are Wales Certified, Paul DeLuca. Yes, you are. And yes. And I want you to know that I know that you know the fabulous Fox Theater is in the Wales Certified Hall of Fame. So anybody who's ever watched a show, watched a performance, back from the day, and remodeled to the fabulous Fox, all the stagehands, all the national. Anybody who's ever done any show business here is Whale Certified Hall of Fame.
And that I'm sure that there's hundreds of people that would really appreciate your certification, and I'm not kidding.
Well, I tell you, they have a bust. They got busts of the original owners and stuff. And I'm shooting for the Paul DeLuca bust. all right. We're good, yeah.
Well, I'll have a statue.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, absolutely. So it's a custom to say, hey, man, hey, Paul, whatever you want to say to who you ever want to say it to for as long as you want to say it for. This is your chance.
Well, if I was going to say something, I would say to everybody that has made this career for me, thank you, because I wouldn't change a thing. I've had, and I am coming up on retirement.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to come here before I know it,
Right.
and it's been a blast.
Hasn't
It has been a blast, and I would say thank you to everybody that's come through here and made my life wonderful.
Yes.
And that includes you, Kevin Weather.
Hey, for God's sakes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm blushing. That's why we only do audio. But there it was, man. And that's the real deal, is that, that faces of the theater. The happy.
Yeah, the comedy and tragedy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, with the Addams Family, sad, happy, sad.
Yeah.
And, the people, they come and they go, but they're never forgotten.
Yeah.
It's
that guy, I remember his name. I know what he looks like.
Your buddy.
Yeah, your buddy. But yeah, I mean, there's the memories. There's so many.
Yes.
I say I can't remember anymore because that's going to push one of the old ones out. I'm all full.
Well said, baby. So I believe that you and Gigi will have that treasured retirement, that every day is a new day with nothing but, a journey to extraordinary without being on the time clock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We're looking forward to it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely looking forward to it.
I mean, it took a while to say, Jesus, it's 6 in the morning. I better get the hell out of here. You have to roll over. So, yeah. So it's at night, you're coming home. You'll be it's 1:15. You'll be home around 3:30.
Yep.
Yeah. You got something tomorrow at all?
No, we got tomorrow off. But,
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes. Sunday's usually a long day in show business.
It is, and the last Sunday was really long.
Oh.
And I guess it's today now, but we work some strange hours. That's for sure.
Oh man! But Mondays, it's Monday. Nothing. You say, I'm getting a little nervous. I want to do something. Oh man! So anyway, Paul DeLuca, I want to thank you so very much. I've been, texting you, hounding you, for several years now
sorry
to do
it took
this.
so long, but it's been fun.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. It's got the power of the universe got this together.
That's right.
And
the Temptations.
Boom. Yeah. The things you make me do, whatever. Yeah. Okay. But